Oh, thanks. Thanks, Stephanie, for that nice introduction. And thanks to the Davids for getting me here today. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So yeah, as Stephanie mentioned, she gave a little intro to the firm, and I'll go in a little bit deeper on, what we're about and some of our top projects. Oh, so thanks again for having me. I'm excited to come talk to you guys about our firm. And it's really exciting for me personally to kind of travel virtually across the country and get to meet you all as well. So just what I want to talk about today is give you a kind of deep overview of Moody Nolan, our kind of diversify design theme, and go over some projects and our tie to social responsibility, which is really important for our firm. I'll give you like a brief highlight of like my own career journey. And then I have an interactive exercise for us to go through towards the end and kind of conclusion. And yeah, please ask questions anytime, interrupt. It's anything to make it more interactive, I'm all about. So yeah, big news for Moody Nolan this year. We received the 2021 AIA Architecture Firm Award. And you know that less than 1% of firms receive this award. And we're the first Ohio firm to achieve this award and the first African-American owned firm to receive this award. So it's been, really exciting news for us, and we're excited to kind of celebrate and also kind of tell everyone like why, what about us like makes us a firm of the year. So I hope to kind of cover that as we go through this presentation. But just some quick stats, here's some stats. So it's our core belief that design is a product of diverse people and ideas. So this idea has really gained us over 330 design awards, NOMA Firm of the Year, Ohio Gold Medal Firm of the Year. So all these kind of accolades have accumulated in us receiving this 2021 award. Experience. So we work a lot on higher ed campuses, which is personally what I work on as well at Moody Nolan. So yeah, we're all across the country, have a nationwide practice, and this is just a list of all of our breadth of work here. So here's our guiding principles. You can kind of read them on the screen there, but I think, the first one really being great clients make great projects and become our good friends. And of course, we get the benefit of repeat clients. And I think it's just our kind of culture that has really leverages our business relationships, and we're able to kind of reach across a wide spectrum of practice types. So about the practice types, so we work in multiple different markets, and I'll show you some project highlights of some of these as well. And then we really have three expertise. We do architecture, interior design, and experiential design, which is like our branding and graphics department. And yeah, I'll kind of go fast. There's a lot of slides, a lot of fun content to share with you guys, but I know this is being recorded, so if you ever want to reference back or have any questions, please let me know. Here's our office locations. We have 11 offices across the country. I am here in Columbus, Ohio, right there in the middle. And we've worked in 45 states and over 44 countries out of our 11 offices. So I wanted to show you guys here, this is some of the projects that we've worked on in the region and also on your campus there. Currently working with Hornbeat Blatt Architects on this Wellness Center number 3 in Oklahoma City. It's a wellness center for seniors, residents over 50. And it's a pretty unique partnership with Langston University and the YMCA to bring new services in the community. Anticipated for 2022 opening. So yeah, this is our, what I like to call the tapestry of our firm. So our leadership is comprised of 32% minorities and 42% women. That's how we have like the bigger The larger images of the faces are more of our senior leadership roles. And our staff also represents 13 different countries. We have 12 partners and 7 principals. And then we have 20 associate principals. And along with our leadership, we really value our emerging professionals. We pride ourselves in growing our staff and the next generation of leaders. So that's, we love to kind of reach out to universities and engage with you all. And we have a specific program that we have for our emerging professionals who are, less than 3 to 5 years experience. We talk about licensure, there's focused programming and lectures. And this image down on the left there is this fun speed dating type mentorship with firm leaders. So throughout here, I have some little breaks in here just with some inspirational quotes. All right, so a little bit about the history, which Stephanie alluded to. So in 1982, amidst a depressed economy, Moody and Associates had grown to 9 staff. And since then, so Kurt joined forces with the engineering firm Howard E. Nolan and Associates, thus Moody Nolan was born. And on the right, that is a New Life Church. So designing churches really laid the foundation for the firm's philosophy of responsive design and making lasting impacts in communities. And both Kurt Moody and Howard Nolan being, really deeply religious people and really bringing those core values to their philosophy. So in 2011 was when Howard Nolan had passed away. So Kurt kept the namesake of Moody Nolan, and it's really, the legacy has really lived on, and we keep that namesake for the firm. There's young Kurt there. All right, so fast forward to today. In 2020, the firm's board of directors named Jonathan Moody the new CEO of Moody Nolan. So Jonathan is one of Kurt's 3 sons. And so in addition to the transition from father to son, the firm has been intentionally preparing for the retirement of some of the founding partners, in addition to new leadership positions. So it's really interesting transition going on in the firm right now. The partners who started in the 80s are retiring along with Kurt, and this transition to this Jonathan, being younger CEO. So I think all that kind of accumulated to kind of our foundation and where the firm's going. And yeah, this kind of second generation of leadership really respects the firm culture and and really values incorporating new and impactful ideas. This is one of my favorite Kurt Moody quotes: "Do what you can when you can with what you've got while you've got it." So about design, we practice what we call responsive design, and it's really critical to understand the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion in architecture to understand the complex challenges that our clients and communities face. And also our design process is entangled with sustainability. We know that, this is an ever-growing topic of discussion, climate change, and it's really a core value in our design. Here's an overview of our design process: listen, discover, ideate, detail, and build. Here we go. And next, this is what we call our 9 square. So essentially, when we're doing designs with our clients, we come with a set of 9 diverse, different types of ideas. From those, a top 3 are selected and developed even further. And then from there, there's a top 1 design that gets selected. So we use this process to build consensus among the team and the clients throughout design. And usually, the one that gets selected is a combination of a lot of different ones. So, but that's just a little highlight video of how we build consensus through our design process. All right, this is an example of using digital tools to facilitate community engagement and engagement with our clients. I think everyone's pretty much leveraging digital tools, since the events of 2020. So this is just an example of what we're doing, and yeah, this is where we have our different clients putting reds and green dots on preferred spaces and dislike spaces. Diversity drives innovation. So next I have a few slides talking about some diversity stats. So you might be familiar with, these are the stats in architecture school, where we're seeing about 44% women, 56% men, and about 46% white. Next is diversity in profession. So you see the big jump, men up to 73% in gender, and then white up to 78%. So we understand there's that gap between school and work. Here's diversity at Moody Nolan. Better than the entire architecture as a profession, but still we want to be better. And it's our core belief that great design is a product of diverse people and diverse ideas. So although we're doing pretty well in terms of the spectrum of the profession, this is definitely an area that we're still working to improve our diversity at Moody Nolan. I did a little homework. I looked up on your guys' website, and I found that I got some numbers from your architecture department. So I was excited to see that this data is being tracked at your school, and we can't improve it if we can't measure it. So I think it's a really great step to track the demographics. So pretty much in line with what's going on across the country. Next, I have some other slides just kind of talking generally about equity and diversity. So AIA San Francisco has an equity by design. They do a lot of metrics for diversity in the profession. It's a great resource if you don't know about it. And just a couple slides in here to highlight kind of pay equity. You can see the graph here. Next one, talking about principals or partners, about 5 about every 28 are women. And out of every 8 architects, or there are 8 women architects out of every 29 licensed architects. And we understand that there's we're starting to understand like why these changes and dips happen in the profession, and why that diversity decreases as leaders and in their careers progress, whether it's finding the right work-life balance, finding the right firm, getting licensed, caregiving, hitting the glass ceiling, pay equity. There's a multitude of different influences on why there are less women and underrepresented groups in the profession. Another one of my favorite quotes, "This is your world, shape it or someone else will." So next I'm gonna dive into projects. And really, I think these next couple examples demonstrate what we do in communities, specifically kind of underrepresented communities, believing that everyone, all communities need great design, right? So this is one of our signature projects, the Martin Luther King Library branch. This is the replacement of the original library that was named after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it's received quite a few accolades, so which is for its design. And to us, it really signifies this hope and a desire to change the community, provide better resources for adults and teens and children. Here's another couple of views. So there's a homework help center, teen room, youth activity rooms, books and computers, what places for people to study, to prepare to get better jobs, interview, presentation practice rooms, etc. And along the left, there is some kind of inspirational imagery of how the design came together about these kind of intertwined, interlocked arms. So here's an image at the ribbon cutting. So nearly over 1,200 people came out for this. And it was dedicated by Martin Luther King III. So his presence there really provided hope to the community that like better days are ahead. So I think it's important to talk about not just what architecture is, but why it is that what we do. And the why is to really elevate these underrepresented communities. So on the other extreme, this is a client with lots of money. So then this is the Connor Group headquarters, and this is a fun one. This is in Dayton, Ohio, that showcases, some of our signature sleek design, and really put in here to show like the breadth and diversity of the type of work that we do. So this is a new headquarters for that company. So the owner loves aviation and adventure. And in spirit of collaboration, you see we have this collaborative stair. It celebrates 21st century materiality. And there's a lot of intention to detail and how light enters the building. Connor Hangar, so this is adjacent to there. And it's really, aviation is a market that we're starting to get into more and more. I think it's one of the growth markets that we have. In addition to multifamily housing, which is just exploding right now, which I'm probably seeing you're all seeing too. Cleveland School for the Arts. This is in Cleveland, Ohio. It's in the heart of Cleveland's kind of cultural center. Some images. So this this is a zinc rain screen, kind of playing with the vertical punch openings, creating this kind of playful exterior, and also tying in some historic elements from a former school that used to occupy the site. So through materiality, representing the community. All right. Next, we have AC Hotel. This is in Columbus, Ohio. So this is a part of our larger mixed-use development, and which is a suburb outside of Columbus. Some interior design awards that we have here. So this is an example of how our interior architecture and architecture groups really work together. Next, this is the University Hospital's Rainbow Center for women and children. And this is in the neighborhood of Cleveland, Ohio as well. So it's near a major hub of healthcare institutions, but it's just on the outskirts. So it's in the middle of a neighborhood that was underserved. And the client, they created a community advisory to assemble all of these organizations and all of these stakeholders to really build the fundraising and build excitement for like this type of project to happen in the neighborhood. So we were excited to be the architects for this one. It's the first LEED Platinum healthcare facility of its kind in Ohio, and it provides much needed services for the community. And a patient recently said that this is the first healthcare facility in the community where she feels respected. So, and there's a lot of disparity in the healthcare realm around underrepresented groups. So being part of this story is, it's a special thing. Jack Yates High School. These are in Texas. So we did the high school work, and then we got the Texas Southern University library. So this is really a intellectual hub for the second largest HBCU in the nation. There's some more images. And this is in a historic community as well. Next, Eastern Tennessee State University. This is a brutalist styled 1970s building. And we did a renovation and addition on the exterior. So this, it's really kind of transformational, kind of ripping down that brutalist facade and letting in this natural light. So it's this interesting story of creating this open, attractive space for students and staff and a focal point on campus. UConn, this is in University of Connecticut, a student rec center. This was a strategic opportunity to bring health and wellness to their campus, which is really, we do quite a bit of health and wellness work. All right, this is another one in Columbus, Ohio. This is a neighborhood called East Franklinton. So this is a neighborhood that's like really growing, and it's like a neighborhood outside of downtown, but has really been a focus area for arts and revitalizing industrial buildings. So this is there's residential units incorporate these large windows that have balconies, and this lower level has the live work units. For this one, this is where our scope was the wayfinding and donor signage for the National Museum of African American Music. And this is in Nashville. So it represents classical, country, jazz, hip hop. So this integrates history and interactive technology to tell these untold stories of all these different music genres. This one, International African American Museum, under construction now. This is in Gaxton Wharf in Charleston, South Carolina. So the interesting thing about this project is it's sited on the point where a significant portion of enslaved Africans arrived in America. So this design is really telling the story of that. What is it? Yeah, 40% of all African Americans can trace their ancestors to arriving at this point. And this project here, we were the design architect was Paycob Freed, and we were the architect of record for the project, which is something we do a lot of. We partner with lots of firms, big and small. Yeah, this one's under construction. Malcolm X College of School and Health Sciences. This is in Chicago as well. Oops. All right. This is a $252 million facility, and this one is a college that's supporting over 6,000 students and to learn in a state-of-the-art healthcare setting. So with this one, we partnered with Canon Design, and yeah, and some interesting stats here. The overall graduation rates have increased 40%. Passing rates are increasing. So I know there's lots of factors that increase enrollment rates and things. But we like to think that having this space and these facilities really contribute to the student experience. Winchester Arena in Chicago. This is a over 10,000 seat arena for DePaul University. They do their basketball here. This one was also with Pelly Clark Pelly as well. So this event center is part of a whole redevelopment plan to transform the surrounding neighborhood. All right. So in 2017, the firm began a new initiative to impact communities in a direct and tangible way. And in this way, the Legacy House Project was born. So Legacy House, this is Columbus, Ohio. So this project was fully funded by Moody Nolan and select partners. And it's a kind of premier example of affordable housing. And it was dedicated to, or given to one deserving family, and established a viable template for others to follow. I think it's a really great example of how we can lead lead and inspire other architects and designers to do this type of giving back work. So this is images of, these are all Moody Nolan staff who were at the house, drywalling, painting, whatever skills that you had. We were all there working together. You know, the land was purchased, the land deal and the house and everything was all funded through us and our partners. So in March, this was March in 2018, it was donated free to the family in need. And yeah, when the family moved in, they had a full refrigerator, full bedding, beds, furniture, everything. Here's the picture of that. Yeah. So it's about 750 square feet, 3 bedrooms, you know, very like efficient layout. So from that Columbus project, we're intending to do the same thing in Nashville. So we actually celebrated the groundbreaking of this last summer, so under construction. So the goal is to really do a legacy house in each of our 11 offices. Yeah, a lot of hard work, a lot of fundraising, had lots of, but it's really rewarding stuff. All right. So social responsibility, community purpose, just kind of stepping off that legacy house, right? So we're really, you know, we think it's important to portray a portrait for young people of color to believe in, or young people in general, right? So through speaking engagements at schools, NOMA's project pipeline, internships, scholarships, we really strive to be an example for our constituents in leading the way in social responsibility. So another fun fact, we have 10 minority-owned architecture and engineering firms have actually been established through their experience and leadership skills developed at Moody Nolan. You could kind of think we're like a little incubator for future businesses. Yeah, so a little bit more about diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is our, you know, our senior leadership has support to improve these aspects. And with all of our senior leadership on board, it's really been instrumental in how we've grown over the past year. And out of last year and like all the events that happened, we started walking the talk. And let's see, this is a specific session. So we've done multiple sessions, either every week or every other week. And these are just conversations that we have within our firm. It's internal dialogue and very well-attended events. We just do these on Microsoft Teams, like virtual, and they give us an opportunity to grow. And what we do, we talk about the current climate, understand each other, what the impacts of inequity is in our profession and in our communities. So it's really a forum to kind of listen and support staff collectively. So it's been a pretty interesting, interesting forum just to be a part of, because, you know, these are very important, complex matters. And it's great to have that kind of bond amongst ourselves. And these are some of the example topics we talk about. We talk about racism, we talk about stereotypes, we talk about redlining, mass incarceration. We invited local law enforcement to talk with us about how they feel and what they're seeing in their industry. So, and yeah, and we're really just, you know, acknowledging and understanding the impacts on our society. So we're still doing it, and where it leads, we don't know, but it's been great for all those involved. I listed out some resources here in terms of just diversity resources that you can access, NOMA, AIA, and some of my favorite kind of, I call them new age pioneers in equity and inclusion. More resources as well, podcasts, speeches, blogs. This is a good one. I clipped in here from AIA Grassroots. That was last week. Stacey Abrams was the keynote. So, all right, so that wraps up like the kind of main projects portion. I don't think I see any questions. I'll just keep going. So this next part I talk about a little bit like my career journey within Moody Nolan. And so this is our picture of our firm. This is us and all of us in Columbus, Ohio. So you might ask yourself like, or I would ask myself like, how do I fit into a firm with such a strong history, strong ethics, like lots of attention? And I would say the answer is I don't fit in. I think, you know, we have this spirit of kind of entrepreneurship and kind of being your own person and carving out your own identity within the Moody Nolan family. So it's really a place and culture for you to develop as like individual. And the firm really allows for, with me personally, a professional and personal growth opportunities. And I've been with the firm over 5 years now, 6 next month. All right, here's a little bit more about me, some images of my family, me engaging with clients, me trying to jump in the air with my master's degree. So I think, you know, it goes to show, I think, you know, work and life are really intertwined. And you might hear my little kids running in the background. They're home now, but it's all part of being a professional in this industry. And what we really like to say is architecture is a leadership business. And I'm going to share a couple of examples of kind of demonstrating leadership in the industry. Leadership in practice. So I'm part of the student-focused facility studio. That's what we call ourselves, but we do sports and recreation architecture. This is one of our more recent ones, which I was the project architect for, was a recreation center. This is in Jacksonville, Alabama. So yeah, this is new state-of-the-art facility, and they were really in desperate need of like some sort of recreation facilities at their school. So it's really great to bring a new facility to a campus that really, a rural campus in Alabama with lots of commuter students. So leadership and service. So I'd say mentorship has had a monumental impact on my career. So through doing that, I started a mentorship program through AIA Columbus. I think professional organizations like AIA and NOMA are great for your development. All right. Leadership and education. I think I mentioned, maybe I didn't mention yet, but I'm also a studio instructor at The Ohio State University. Here's some of my students in the studio with their masks on, and then we're in Zoom meetings and on Miro boards. So at Ohio State, we have 300 plus undergrads and 60 plus grad students in the School of Architecture. And our architecture department is under the College of Engineering at Ohio State. And at our Knowlton School of Architecture, we have landscape architecture, city and regional planning, and architecture. And I currently teach junior studio. Leadership and education. So here's a list of different practices that we've used at Ohio State and teaching our students differently, and trying to evolve the practice of education due to being, you know, virtual world, and just trying to advocate for equity, diversity, and inclusion. So we have professional guests exposing more professionals and different guests to the students. I think voice changes has been like a key echoing term throughout the semester. Other things that we've done are co-teaching, active recruitment of guest critics, live feedback, encouraging students to take value or take ownership of education, talking about social justice, talking about supporting and collaborating together, joint reviews, shifting from what and how to why, like why do we do what we do as architects, and guided interactive reviews and other tips there. So this is another little thing of the Miro board again. This is a screen, or this was for a sophomore studio. This was I think this was a mid review or something, where we had all the students all on one board, and you can see them all flying around here. This is where we had individual Post-it notes, and encourage the students to look at the project through specific themes. They could post Post-its around, and then also add their own Post-its in. Yeah, so there's some of them. And it was a combination of like fun and serious ones, like nice line weights, great section, but then also, yeah, people's choice, exciting entourage, things like that. So just trying to figure out ways to engage students more has been a goal, and challenging. So here is this is one of my, I love the office, so I like to throw in some silly slides. And then next, this is, I'm getting close to the end here with the PowerPoint, but so I put this in here because I like to think of it like on the left is kind of the obsolete way of thinking about career success. Like you're trying to get to like a point A to point B. It's really, it's not like that, right? So I like the image on the right. It's a say yes, and it's all about really enjoying that process, enjoying your journey, and yeah, saying yes to opportunities. Here's another quote, favorite quote from Jonathan. Design is creating a future that doesn't exist yet. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think, you know, as leaders in the profession, Moody Nolan's diversity is more important than ever as a model to move the profession forward, and to think like what we do is beyond architecture and really understand the impact and importance that it makes in communities. So by creating these spaces that people can take pride in, our work can change and transform humanity. So that.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Guys, help me use your reactions there and help me thank Jen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks for the, I think there was the one question. Okay.
We got a couple, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cleveland asks, what project this far with the firm has made you realize how much a structure can impact a community positively? Good question.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of the question. Could you repeat that?
What project this far with the firm has made you realize how much a structure can impact a community positively?
I would say like the first projects like the firm was doing, like in the church projects, you know, for like historically Black communities in Columbus, giving those communities architecture and transforming, transforming the community through great design. So that's kind of what the firm was founded on. And I think that still happens in most all the projects. And that's just the way that we think about projects as positively impacting the community.
Okay, and Stephanie Pollitt asked, could you explain why it is important to develop 9 different design options for a project? Why is it 1 or 2 enough?
Yeah, great question. Well, if you talk to someone who's interested in generative design, they might want 9,000 or 90,000 options, right? Where you can do with automation. So I think that options and giving people choice is the goal of that. We think of our clients as co-creators. So involving them in the process just really enforces that, they're.
Well, my question to add on to that one is who put it in concrete 9 designs as opposed to 6 designs, or was it just because of the emblem, the square, that it got divided up into 9 sections at one time and all of a sudden you were looking at 9 designs? Is it more of a hypothetical abstract idea, or do you literally just try to come up with as many designs for your clients to look at?
Yeah, so the 9 is it's based on, I think it came out in like 2003 or 2004 or something. And it's really just like it fits in the square, right? And it can be framed around the just the progress of design and like design meetings and how we structure them. And I'll say that's a framework for our process. I don't think not all projects do that. I know when we worked on the Wellness Center 3 with Hornbeat Flat, we did we did 4 options because of site constraints and things like that. And then it was kind of a hybrid of a couple of them that ended up coming together.
Okay. Well, we got one here. You mentioned that you were with the firm for 5 years. Can you talk more about your path from grad school through your start at Moody Nolan?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a Ohio State alumni, graduated there, and then I was like, I'm getting out of Ohio. I'm getting out of Columbus. So I headed to Chicago. So I lived and worked in Chicago about 10 years, and so I took like I guess a gap year between undergrad and grad. So I worked for a year. This was like 2008 when the last recession. So I worked at architecture firm that was doing like mostly construction administration work. Then I got my master's at IIT in Chicago. I worked at a couple small firms, Johnson and Lee, and I worked at Gensler, and then ultimately made full circle back to Columbus, Ohio, because all my family's here, and wanted to start my family. So being closer to family was the impetus for coming back to Columbus. And yeah.
Okay. So did you, I'll add to that, did you focus on a specific area of study at IIT, or was it just a general master's in architecture?
Master's in architecture.
Okay.
And you could take, I took focused electives in sustainable design.
Okay. Okay, Sam Callahan asks, how many of your clients have come to your firm because they buy into your vision versus the tremendous behind the scenes efforts to market your vision as a commodity?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't have the answer. I know that the best client to get is one that you don't have to go out and market for. So like a lot of our work is like repeat clients. I don't know like a number offhand, but we have a robust like marketing and business development team. There's probably like 8 to 9 staff that are fully dedicated to those efforts.
Okay. Well, you got one more here. What sort of process did you go through when finding your home within a firm, and how did you know what sort of environment you were looking for? Good question.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. For me, it was a series of trial and error. I hopped around into a couple different firms. I wanted to try a couple different firm sizes, pros and cons to all types. And also personally for me, I was drawn to the type of work that Moody Nolan was doing, specifically in the student focused and recreation group that I'm part of now. And yeah, I think it's definitely, I think your job is like 50% of the people that you work with.
Yep.
And yeah.
Okay, well, we got one more that showed up. Do you have any advice for us undergraduate students? Any advice?
Oh, only one thing? I think
9 things.
9 things, 9 and 3 than 1. Um, hmm. I don't know. I would really, I think of your degree as yeah, I would say an architecture degree can lead to like lots of opportunities. And I would think about your education as a value and not as a like a straight line path. So
Well, that was an amazing suggestion with the next lead up question. In your work as a mentor of young people at your firm or teaching them at the university, do you ever talk to them about careers outside the field of architecture, but still relating to design?
no, we're not allowed to talk about that. No, no, yeah, definitely. And I think that's there's, I remember when I was in Chicago, there was a whole forum on like architects doing other things, like architects in design, graphic design, or other industries, construction, whatever. So I think I'd still, yeah, I think the value of the degree is like in the thinking that you come out with, and yeah, but I also definitely am a big proponent of um, like licensure and architecture in general. Um, but I think more and more we see students who have kind of dual majors or pursuing multiple things or interests in different things. I have one student who's doing some fashion design, another one getting an MBA. So I think, I think we'll see that more and more.
Okay.
Cool. Are you ready to do that?
Hornbeak just jumped in with maybe the final question. We'll see. What your experiences of being a minority in the architectural education? What are your experiences of being a minority in the architectural education process and through the architectural licensing process? What are the embedded issues in the construction industry and the architectural profession specifically that most Caucasians fail to recognize?
Yeah, so much, right? That's a big question, so I know my number. I am the 312th African American woman to be licensed. There's just over 500 now in the country. So it's a small pool, and so yeah, there's a lot of work to do.
Well, and to put it in perspective, there are 80,000 members of the AIA. So
over 90.
Yeah, over 90,000. So putting those percentages into perspective, I think says how small that is.
Yeah, it's not even a full percentage. It's 0.3% of licensed architects are African American women.
Okay. That's bad. It's really bad. Donovan says, I have a question, but it's kind of hard to type. Would it be okay to ask over voice? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation. It was really great. One of the things I wanted to kind of touch on was specifically when you were showing the charts and the numbers. And I know you talked about being a mentor to younger people in the profession, and then also people maybe in high school or primary school. And I'm wondering, when you talk to them, is there sort of this ambiguity between these abstract numbers sometimes? Because I know I'm trying to think back when I was that age, when I was 15, 16, and I saw these charts, and I saw visually that the numbers were low, but without actually seeing it in practice. Do you find that younger students and younger people that are entering the profession need more how do I say this way? They need more spotlight and people like yourselves and what you're doing within the firm, because I see all these numbers like we just talked about in NCARB, and sometimes there's just this abstraction with it. So just a little bit of thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Well, yeah, when we do talk to, I know, like, for instance, like NOMA pipeline projects is a good example of how um, groups are reaching out to underrepresented groups and more like high school age, right, to talk about this stuff. And there's also like hip hop architecture. I don't know if you know that group. So I think it's I don't know. It's kind of a tough question. I think yeah. Well, I think the data and the work that AIA San Francisco Equity by Design Group, I think their first survey came out in like 2014. I think a lot of the data is really being leveraged to help move change in the profession, albeit slowly. Um, yeah. I guess, yeah, what else can I elaborate on? I feel like I didn't really.
Well, that was a pretty abstract question, Donovan.
Well, no, I think it's great that, an example of, what you're doing even now, talking about this. I think that especially sort of students that are on here from first year, they see this sometimes, we talk about it in terms of numbers and data and all that. And I think actually seeing that there's firms that do pride themselves with diversity. And because at the end of the day, architecture isn't just, the physical building, but it's also for the people. So it's great that I think we could see that. And so I guess that was kind of more of the question is how many students or how many young people kind of respond to the fact that you, have this representation within your firm? And is this something that, as they go throughout their careers, and watching firms like yours grow, is that something that they're responding to in their own sort of career projector, or their careers?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I think like we're still like learning that. I think that students are um, like mostly oblivious to the type of numbers and things like that until kind of 2020, when a lot of these Instagram things are happening, talking about like diversity in the profession, diversity at schools and stuff. So I think part of it is getting out there and talking about it, and that's what we're looking to do more as a firm, and like showcase things like the legacy house and spread the word. So looking to just, we can't, it's a big fight, but we're in for the challenge to help evolve the profession, showcase what we do, showcase what we don't do, and how we want to get better. Cool. Well, I do have, I put a link in the chat.